Hello everyone, my name is Stefan. I am a PM on the remote desktop services team. What I want to show you today is a situation where a package that we're trying to add to a WD host pool reports invalid logo error message. So let me first show you that error and then we'll discuss what is happening. So I'm in the Azure portal and here I'm gonna add a new package to a host pool. This particular package was given to me by a customer reporting this particular error, invalid logo. Now, let's talk a little bit background on what are we doing in the UI prior to adding the package to the host pool. So as soon as this path is passed in the UI, we are actually sending it all the way to the RD agent on the host to mount the path and parse the package. During the parsing of the package, we do validation. And our validation is reporting that the package is missing a logo for one of its applications. That is not an error an app attach, that is an error in the package itself. Now let's go and see what's wrong with that package and how we can fix it. For that, I will go to my packaging VM, and here I am gonna find the MSIX from which I generated the VHD. So not necessarily that the VHD is incorrect, is the MSIX package. Then I'm gonna do my usual, which is, well, the usual thing that I like to do, is unzip the MSIX package. So I'm gonna do .zip as an extension. Now this is gonna take some time, so I'm not gonna have us wait for it. I'm just gonna pause and resume when it's done. From here we're at the 97-98%, so I resume the video and just have to wait for it to finish. And of course, the last 2% are probably the longest ones. We don't have to wait for it to complete, actually, because if you go into the folder, hopefully you can see we have our content on Google Chrome. Well, really, the most important part that we need is the manifest file. And that is coming, and it's in the last few bits here. Excellent. So I'm gonna grab this manifest file, I'm gonna move it to my developer machine, as I would like to have Visual Studio Code and show you a few tricks there. So I moved the manifest file to Visual Studio Code. Let me zoom here so we can see it slightly better. And I know we're dealing with logos, so that points me automatically to something to do with the assets around the icons. So I'm just gonna compress all the extension nodes and I'm gonna start looking at the application ID, as every application ID generates an entry point into my package. And the first thing I'm noticing here is you can see that I do have two sets of assets, one Chrome-Square 44 logo and one Square whatever, in this case 150 by 150 logo PNG. Now, one of these two assets will be missing. That's my premise here. The way I need to expand this asset is that actually I will need the resource PRI file back from the expanded package. So I'm gonna grab the PRI file, resource PRI, move it to my machine, and then using the Windows SDK, I am gonna dump that file. Here in PowerShell, I'm gonna point my PowerShell to the SDK folder, and then I'm gonna use the make PRI.exe, and I'm gonna dump the resource PRI file into resource PRI XML. Now, where do we get the SDK from? So this is the link to get the latest SDK version. I do recommend it, especially if you are planning to work with MSIX, to have this SDK handy. So download, install, and then you'll be able to dump your file, and I show the commands on the screen. Now let's go and load that dump the resource.pri XML into our Visual Studio Code editor. So I have it here, and I can see back from the manifest file, I'm gonna start and I'm gonna look for the assets Chrome Square logo. And here I just will need to remove the assets part, and you can see right away I was able to find that the resource chrome.square44, it is pointing to a file. I will need to go into my expanded package and see, is that file actually present there? Let's go see that. Back on the repackaging machine, we're gonna look at the assets. Then it's right here on top, no-brainer. It's there, so that is not the problematic file. Let's keep going down the list. So then in the manifest file, we see we also have square logo assets, square 150 by 150, and we also have 140 by 140. And actually we're noticing that all the other entry points are based on that file. They're looking not at the Chrome one, but on just square. Let's go and see what file is this being pointed to in the resource PRI. And something strange is happening. I don't have the square, okay, without the Chrome dash. I just don't have a square 150 by 150. It's just, there's nothing pointing to it. It's missing in my manifest file. My PRI file. Now, if you go back into the machine, that's my packaging machine, you can see it's actually not here as well. So somehow, during packaging, these assets were not added to the package. Why? I don't know. The package was given to me by a customer. I am not sure what tool they use to repackage their application. Obviously, Chrome does not come as an MSIX yet. Hopefully that's coming. So I'm clearly missing assets. I can go and try to add the assets, but for the sake of brevity, I'm gonna go and do something slightly more ingenious, or at least I think so, where I'm gonna repoint all these broken guys to the one I know it's there. So the square 150 and the square 44. I'm gonna take that chrome.square 44 and I'm just gonna replace it for all my 3, in this case, entry points. Alternatively, we can go and fix the PRI file. I found that a little bit more annoying. Since then I have to repackage it, then I have to generate it, and then I have to add it to the package. This is much easier. Okay, so I have my fixed XML. Now I need to go and add it to my package. So this we will do in the my packaging VM. So here in the VM, I am again gonna cheat slightly. I'm gonna take the original XML that was given to me by the customer. So I'm just gonna rename it back to MSIX. I'm gonna edit it with the packaging tool. I'm gonna scroll all the way down here. I'm gonna say open file. And I'm gonna replace the existing manifest file with my new one, and I'm just gonna make sure that everywhere I have Chrome. Perfect. I'll save that. I will increment the version. I'm gonna save it on the desktop. And then I am going to go run a quick command line to generate my VHD so I can go and mount it. Okay, and before I generated my VHD, I just ran this command here that prepares my input parameters for the next command line, which is the MSIX manager. I am not gonna wait for it to complete. It's about 1 GB. It's gonna take like 5 minutes. So I'm just gonna resume once it's done. So start it and I'll be back. Okay, so about 1 minute later, and you can see here we generated a new path. So we're gonna grab that path. So actually this is my file share from where I am staging my MSIX images, and I'm gonna go into the Azure portal and try to add this new fixed package to my host pool. Okay, back into the WD Blade. This is actually exactly where we left off. This was the bad package version 54, and the new one that I have is version 57, ending on 57, I'm sorry. Let's see what's gonna happen now. So again, that whole handshake is happening where the portal is talking to the broker, to the WVD agent on /RD agent on the host pool, is mounting the file, and then here we can see packaged application. These are those entry points that we saw in the manifest file. So now all of them are pointing to the same icon. That's fine. We can override it once we publish the application. But at this point, we were able to fix our MSIX. So to recap, when we're packaging Win32 or an MSI application to MSIX, things can break. Our portal is enforcing certain validation to make sure that, that the manifest is there, that the file, the MSIX package are correctly created, all the assets are there. In this case, assets were missed. So we had to go and in the most unintrusive way, by just repointing to existing assets, we fixed the package. There are other ways we can fix this, but for this demo, that's one way of doing it. And I want to thank my colleague Ryan Annis for helping me with this issue. With that said, thank you.